Is Maine taking good enough care of its veterans? Many would say this state and the rest of the country have a long way to go when it comes to meeting the needs of those who have served. Today, the nation's top official for Veterans Affairs visited the Togus Hospital to see for himself. As News 13's Jim Sear reports, he agrees that there's room for improvement.
Secretary?
Eric Shinseki has been on the job for a little more than a year after being appointed Secretary of Veterans Affairs by President Barack Obama. Today, he was at the VA Medical Center at Togus to, in his words,
to come and see a rural part of America that deserves, special attention as we deploy resources.
Shinseki thanked Maine Congressman Mike Michaud for his efforts to expand health care to veterans living in rural Maine that have included setting up community-based and mobile outpatient clinics around the state. But Shinseki also acknowledged more needs to be done. Recently, the Inspector General's office concluded that Togus is falling short when it comes to processing claims. There are backlogs, and sometimes the claims are processed incorrectly.
There never is, simply just one issue, but automation is broadly at the base of everything. We are paper-bound, and so we receive paper, and then we have to process paper at the same time as we try to convert that into electrons.
Maine Congresswoman Chellie Pingree says having the Secretary here in person presents a special opportunity.
It also gives us a little bit of time to take him aside in a time when he's not distracted to talk about specific problems that we hear from veterans and to see how he's going to move forward with them.
Coming up tonight at 6, what Secretary Shinseki says is one of the biggest problems confronting the nation's veterans. Jim Sear, News 13. Congresswoman Chellie Pingree says she hears the frustration about the backlog of claims from veterans themselves.
So it's almost always a bureaucratic problem or some kind of a logjam, but I think the Secretary is trying very hard to fix some of that. We just like to make sure we get in there and remind him that it has to happen a lot faster.
Shinseki, who's been on the job for a little more than a year now, says an unacceptable number of veterans, including those returning home from Iraq and Afghanistan, are struggling with numerous problems.
Veterans have a disproportionate share of the country's homeless, jobless, substance abusers, mental health problems.
Shinseki says he wants the homeless veterans problem solved in 5 years. An ambitious goal, but according to veterans advocates, one worthy of those who've served their country. Jim Sear, News 13.
Well, health care reform is now law, but federal officials say there's still a lot of work to be done. And to that end, the head of the Department of Veteran Affairs paid a visit to Maine today. VA Secretary Eric Shinseki toured the Togus VA Medical Center in Augusta along with Representatives Mike Michaud and Chellie Pingree, talking about ways to expand health care access to veterans in rural areas. Shinseki says one of the big reasons we need to improve is because so many veterans are homeless.
And we are serious about going after this. How do we find the reasons, the causes that allow people to end up in this condition? And it's about jobs, it's about education, it's about mental health treatment, it's about substance abuse, it's about dealing with folks that have suicide ideation.
Shinseki is promoting several initiatives, including community-based clinics and mobile outpatient clinics in Maine.